The Second Amendment was adopted December 15th, 1791, you know what I'm saying, along with the rest of the Bill of Rights. And the American Bar Association noted that there was more disagreement and less understanding than any other right in the Constitution. It originated from England, you know what I'm saying, just for persons of military to secure the public. And the whole term right to bear arms really just means equipment. And it's just equipment of war, not just any equipment. And you know, it refers to military callings, basically. And obviously we've come a long way from them times. We have many laws and restrictions of what you can and can't do and age limits. So I just want to see in Illinois, how do you even legally own a gun, you know, without any restrictions so you couldn't get in trouble. So I got some numbers for y'all. Now this is for handguns. To even have a permit to purchase a handgun, you need a FOIA card. To register one, you need a FOIA card. License for owners to even have a handgun, just for owners, you need a FOIA card. To carry a handgun, you need a FOIA card. So what exactly is a FOIA card? This is how you get a FOIA card in Illinois. All right, the requirements are, if you're over 21, you just basically apply for it online. It's like a little $10 fee, and you know, it's a little couple restrictions, but I'm gonna get into that later. This is for under 21. You have to have a written consent from a parent or guardian. So they're gonna sign you off saying, yeah, my son or daughter can own a gun, you know, but the guardian has to be eligible for a FOIA card, herself or himself, is, you know, over 21 with no criminal background. And you can't have any misdemeanors, felonies, nothing, not even a misdemeanor. You can't have anything on your record. And you can't be addicted to drugs. They put that as a restriction, which is common sense. You couldn't have been a patient in a mental facility from the past 5 years. And they got the R word, retarded, which is really not the right word. I'm gonna just put special. You can't be, you know, one of them special people, you know what I'm saying? You can't be an illegal alien, you know, you gotta be a citizen of the U.S. And you can't be subject to existing order of protection prohibiting you from a firearm. Of course, you know, you can't have any convictions, you already know that. And you can't, this is one different, you can't be convicted of domestic battery or substantially similar offense in another jurisdiction committed on or after January 1st, 1998. Why that is, I have no clue, but it is a special date. And I mean, if you got all that, you apply for a FOIA card online. It takes 60 days, you know, because they run through your background. They're just not gonna just, you know, believe what you say. They actually do a double check of your background, and you have to pay them to do your background check, just to let you know. And it takes 60 days, and you get a valid card. That's for handguns under 21. I mean, that's for not handguns. You can only get shotguns because I guess they figure you're not gonna come outside the house with something that big, you know what I mean? So if you're under 21, shotguns, if you passed all that, you're pretty much good in Illinois. Now, to get handguns, you automatically have to be over 21. No ifs, ands, or buts, no anything. I don't care if your dad's a chief or police. You can't do it. You know what I mean? And it is some restrictions to go with that too, because if you happen to be in a vehicle with someone who doesn't own a FOIA card, you could be liable for anything that happens that has to do with that firearm, which makes sense also. And you can't store it around a minor. They got minor as 14 years old or younger, but we know it's probably like 17 years old or younger. You can't have a firearm around them. If it is, you have to have it locked up securely in the case, you know, ammunition has to be out, unloaded, everything. Because if anything happens, you know who's liable for that? The person who holds the gun, which is you. And, you know, it's a lot of little miscellaneous topics that I decided to, you know, record down just because I wanted to. It sound pretty decent, but if you place the same other location that a reasonable person would believe secure for a minor, you actually subject to anything that happens to that gun too. So if you think everything's all good, you put it like in the top drawer, you locked it, you know, but there's still bullets in it. If the minor gets to it, you are in trouble for that. You know what I'm saying? But aside from all that, I got numbers, statistics that are up to date. You know, 2010. This is this year as of today, and this is just the top 10 states-wise as far as gun violence, you know what I'm saying? But first, I'm going to say America there's about 80 million legal gun owners in America, but there's 258 million guns on the streets. So do the math, something doesn't add up right. And the estimate about 39 to 50% of U.S. households own a gun, or at least one gun. You know, that's about half of 80 million, 40. I mean, it's not that hard. But this is just for gun violence as a whole, the top 10 states for gun violence, not specific. But believe it or not, Louisiana is the #1 for gun violence at about 79.5%. Illinois is #2. And then it's Maryland, Arizona, California is #5. Indiana is actually #10 at about 69.6%. That's for gun violence as a whole. Now, specifically for homicides, I just recorded the top 5. For homicides, if you thought California was #1 for homicide, you're exactly right. They're actually doubling Texas, which only has about 1,300. California actually has 2,400 as of today for homicides. So they're #1, Texas #2, New York #3, Florida #4. Illinois is actually #5, and Indiana is kind of down at 18. So that's just by numbers as a whole. And really, honestly, I mean, it makes sense because the more urban areas seem to have more problems because of the neighborhood and the people or whatever. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. And that's why the Second Amendment is important, because it's hard out here, man. Like, a lot of things happen in certain neighborhoods, you know, some things you just gotta do. I mean, I'm thankful that I haven't been in that situation, so I never had to really come across a life and death thing like that. But, you know, hopefully no one else has to either, because you see the numbers don't lie, man. So it's a whole lot of guns on the streets and not that many owners, you know. Where they all coming from, that's a whole nother story, you know what I'm saying?